Hello, everybody. How are you doing today, tonight, whenever you are watching? Welcome to another show or episode of the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair TV show and podcast. That's right. I am here, yours truly, Michelle Green, also known as KB Michelle Green. If you have seen me, you have known that we have been doing this KBCR show on credit and financial tips for over a year now. And we are super excited to be still here, bringing you credit and financial tips that you have never heard of before, that you can apply in real time, in real life. Okay. But we are here today to share with you some more tips. But today we are going to be talking about how does medical debt work on your credit? And before we get into that, we always like to go into our housekeeping. Our housekeeping is basically just the way that things flow here at KBCR. We are a business, we are a company that helps people to repair their credit, but we also help you to be educated on how to play the credit game. So we are not just here by chance. We are here to make sure that you know and understand how to excel and get your credit scores over 700. That's right. Your scores range between 300 to 850. And we teach you how to get those scores and maintain them, keep them up high. We teach you how to do business, how to do credit the right way. That's right. So listen. Make sure that you grab a piece of paper, a pen, and make sure that you get ready to write down some tips because we're going to talk about this medical debt today. But before we get into that, we also like to acknowledge that we are streamed through a powerful network that's called CTR Media Network, baby. That's right. This is the network that streams to 3.6 billion viewers every single day and are in over 175 countries in the world. Hello, somebody. Come on through. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to be in the room with CTR Media Network. So listen, if you're looking to have your business or have your organization get out there so that you can get more clientele, so that you can just share your message, then you need to go over to www.ctrmedianetwork.com. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So listen, we're also going to talk about today what is credit because there are so many billions of people who don't even know what credit is, especially if you have just graduated from high school and you're going into college or you're in college or you are a full-blown adult 2 times over. It doesn't matter where you are and what age you are. What matters is that you understand the basic fundamentals of what credit is. So credit is the ability for you when you don't have enough money, when you don't have enough income to be able to pay for something on credit. That means that if you don't have the money, then you need to borrow the money from a financial institution of some sort. And that financial institution can be a bank or a credit union. It could be a company that is specifically catered to financial institutioning. And that means that they will finance whatever it is that you are looking to purchase. If you don't have the money today, then you can go and put it on credit. So as it relates to our credit, credit is your ability to have a good reputation. Your character is at risk. Your reputation, how you are going to pay them back. What type of credit are you applying for? How much debt do you owe altogether? These are all equations as it relates to you being able to have a good credit score. So why are we explaining this? Because we just need to know the basic fundamentals in order for us to have true success as an entrepreneur or as a person that is trying to get their credit scores up. And yes, business credit is totally different from personal credit. I want you guys to know who are entrepreneurs. But if you are a business owner, make sure that you lock into our KB Michelle Green YouTube channel and lock into the KBBU series that we are providing on Wednesdays at 9:30. But anyway, back to our credit equation. So let's talk about this medical debt. How does medical debt work? Medical debt is something that happens when we get sick or when we have to have an emergency surgery, or sometimes it's not an emergency surgery. Sometimes it's something we already knew about long time ago. And we tend to get into this situation where it's something that is not controlled. It's something that is outside of our ability to maintain or to really control because it happens to the best of us. There isn't a person alive that hasn't had a moment in their life where they were sick or down and out. They could not work, they could not pay their bills, or some type of scenario happened where they had to go to the hospital, they had to go to a doctor's office, they had to be seen by someone medically to take care of them. So let's just establish, first off, that this is what I consider to be a basic living expense. We should have money set aside all the time for an emergency in our health, even if we are healthy, even if we are going to the gym every day, hitting that gym every day, eating right, doing whatever we can to stay healthy. It's just something that we cannot help that's going to happen at some phase in our life. So, if we start out understanding that a medical debt does not appear naturally on our credit reports, because credit reports are usually things that we have contracted with that financial institution, as I just explained, that we need in order for us, when we don't have enough money to pay for stuff, we need to go to the financial institution to get finance. So when we are looking at the ability to have medical debt appear on our credit, it is not something that naturally appears on our credit report. It's something that is not supposed to even be there, okay? Because it is considered to be a basic living expense. Basic living expenses are things like your utilities. It's like your lights. It's like your water. It's like your internet bill. It's like your cell phone bill. So those are things that we recycle over and over and over again every single day, every single month, every single quarter, every single year. And we just want to make sure that we understand that a medical debt was never designed to show up on our credit. So, the way that medical debt works is the same way our utilities work. Because it is something that is recyclable and it is unknown of when we will need to go to the doctor, when we will need to go to the hospital, what happens is we have to understand how that whole procedure begins. So the procedure begins with us getting sick, of course, or us having some type of issue that we need to take care of with our health. Physically, we go to the doctor, we get a bill, but every single person that we see at the doctor's office or at the hospital, we have to understand that each person that we face, every person that we have any type of communications with, is a separate bill for our medical debt. That's right. I know that's blowing your mind. I know that those bombs are going off in your head right now, but that is the truth. If you walk up to the desk into the doctor's office and the receptionist is a separate fee from the person who you go back after they call your name, after they have registered you in to come to the doctor's office or to the hospital. The triage department is a whole different bill from the receptionist part. Okay, so as you're waiting in that lobby, you need to understand that every person that you face is going to incur a different type of debt or a different type of hospital bill or medical bill. It's going to be a separate fee for every person that you see. I know, it's really crazy, right? But this is the system of medical debt. So you go to the receptionist, you sign in, that's one bill. Then you go back to triage and get your blood pressure taken. They weigh you, they get a little bit of information about what your concern is. That's a different bill. Then you actually wait in the waiting room for the doctor to come back after you have gone back with the nurse or whomever has taken you back, right? Okay, so then that's a whole different fee for you to be diagnosed, is different from the fact that you are going to be prescribed medication. So you need to understand that when it relates to medical debt, when it relates to anything dealing with your medications, dealing with your physical body, if you have to have surgery, Everybody that touches you, that you see, and even the ones that you don't see, if you have to have surgery because you're knocked out, listen, that's a different fee. I know this all too well because I've had over 5 surgeries in my lifetime. And hopefully I have never have to have any more because I don't like dealing with all of that. But physically, we got to understand that every person that we see is incurring a different set of bills for us. So the reason why consumers are so frustrated around things appearing on their credit is because the process of you accruing 5 to 10 different bills from one visit to the doctor, from one visit to the hospital, from 2 or 3 different specialists that you have to see over time. Listen, this is the frustration because we don't understand that everybody that we're seeing is not lumped together or combined as one particular bill for everybody. So the different particular skill sets, gifts, and talents that we see that people are offering us. Maybe we had to go to a specialist. That's different from seeing your regular physician. You're going to occur 2 different bills for that. And then you're going to occur different bills within the bill of the specialist and within the bill of the doctor's office versus going to the actual hospital to have to do any type of surgery or consultations. So we want to understand that first off the rip, if we're taking notes, that everybody we see is going to be a separate bill. Now, once we get those bills underway, what we have to do is begin to communicate with the people who we saw. We have to go back to that doctor's office and read the list of different things that we have actually been seen for. So we need to begin to be a little bit more educated on what type of services are we receiving instead of just deciding that we're going to go to the doctor's office, we're going to go to that specialist, we're going to go to the hospital and agree to surgery and not even understand that every single department is giving us a different bill. Okay, we gotta stop and understand that we need to be aware of what services did they render for us instead of us just deciding that we are clueless and assume that everybody is taken care of under one statement. So what we want to do after we figure out exactly what it is that we receive care for, then we want to match that up with the amount of fees or the actual fee that it costs for those particular services. So we have to do 2 things. The 2 things that we have to do is make sure that our insurance company, if we have insurance, is covering those fees. We have to make sure that everything is matching up with that diagnosis, with going to the doctor, having the blood pressure taken, having our weight taken, and all of these different prescriptions that we have. Listen, we got to make sure that everything is matching up to what it is that we have received care for. So we have to make sure that the insurance is taking care of a certain portion if we have insurance. And then if we have multiple insurance companies that we are receiving insurance from, protection from for our health, then we have to make sure that every company has covered the insurance of our health for the services that we receive. So we cannot just decide that we're going to be blindsided to exactly what's going on with our medical debt. We got to be able to know what are the services that were rendered and what is the portion that the insurance company is going to pay for. And thirdly, we have to figure out what is our portion to pay. So our portion to pay as it relates to medical debt is usually going to run us between 70, 80, or 90% covered by the insurance company. So that means that you're going to probably pay anywhere from 30, maybe 40 or 50%, depending on what the insurance company covered. So if you are paying 80, if your insurance company is paying 80% of your medical debt, then that means that you are responsible for 20% of the medical debt expense. And it will break this down on the bill that they send you. And sometimes you can ask for the bill to be sent to you or emailed to you so that you can have a breakdown of what services were rendered and especially your portion of what you got to pay. See, if you don't understand that every insurance company that relates to medical debt is in the arena of making sure that they cover you for a certain percentage. Most of them are not going to cover you 100%. So you're going to be responsible for that 20%, that 10%, or even, more, depending on the type of insurance that you have. And if you are not familiar with the services that were rendered and how much they cost, then you're going to always kind of be in the dark around every single person that you saw as you went to that doctor's office, as you went to that specialist, as you went to that hospital. You're going to be in the dark about how much you are really supposed to pay. So that's why I want us today to begin to change the way that we view medical debt. Instead of us being frustrated, let's have some wisdom and understanding on we have to take the initiative and be proactive to figure out what does the service actually provide us? What did we go to the doctor and actually get done? What did they actually charge us for? And then next, what does the insurance company that we have actually pay for? What is their percentage? And that's going to lead us down a road or a pathway that now we can make sure that we're just not obtaining any kind of old health insurance policy, but we're actually obtaining a policy that is catered to our particular health. If you are the kind of person that goes to the doctor on a regular basis, then you need a plan that's going to cover a majority of those visits. So if you have a plan on your job, your health plan does not cover but maybe one or two visits out of the year, then you may need to consider changing your health plan when it's open enrollment time. Don't just keep the same thing over and over again. Let's look at the opportunities that we have so we can better our health, which will better our finances, which will then better our credit. So we got that underway. So we're going to make sure we figure out what the fee is, what are the services that they gave us. Secondly, we're going to look at the insurance company and we're going to check out to see exactly what the insurance covered for that particular service or whatever they rendered for us. And then we're going to make sure that we understand what's our portion to pay. And we're going to understand that from not just one perspective of just going to see the doctor. We're going to see if there's a triage fee, if there's anesthesia, if we had to have surgery, if there's a consultation fee for seeing a specialist. We're going to see all the different fees that we have to pay. Okay. Now, once we do that, here is the process as it relates to your credit and your credit score going down. What happens is that with medical debt, because it is a basic living expense, it's not something that ever was supposed to occur on your credit. If you don't know what debt or what bills you had to pay for your medical expenses, then it eventually will end up on your credit report after 180 days. So after 6 months of you deciding that you are just blindsided to the fact of what services were rendered, you don't know how much the insurance company paid, and you don't know what your portion or of the percentage is that you're supposed to pay out of pocket, then it allows time to pass that exceeds 6 months. And if there's no payment made within 6 months on any type of medical debt, then guess what happens? It goes from a medical debt status into a charge off write off, which then goes into a collection status and hits your credit. So it bypasses the whole stage of necessarily appearing as a charge off on your credit. It just automatically jumps into the collection status because you did not keep up with what you were supposed to pay. And not knowing that you were supposed to pay multiple people for one particular service. Okay, so this is why it's so crucial that we understand how medical debt works on our credit. Because what happens when we hit that collection stage with the medical debt on our credit, it will take our credit score down by, y'all ready? 100 points. 100 points. Okay, so that is a significant amount of points to lose just for medical debt appearing as a collection on your credit report. So we want to make sure that you understand how crucial it is to make sure that you are on top of the medical debt whenever you get sick, whenever you have to go to a specialist, whenever there's a problem with your health and you end up having to have any type of surgery whatsoever. We cannot help the challenges that are going on in our body. I know some people might disagree, but there are just things, no matter how well we try to take care of ourselves, no matter how well we eat, no matter how many hours of sleep we get, no matter how much we exercise, there usually is something that's going to occur that we cannot control. And that happens because that's just a part of life. Look at COVID. When COVID happened, how many people got sick? How many people got COVID? How many people have had the flu during winter season? So we have to take into equation that we are going to incur some type of medical expense, even children, even teenagers, even young adults. And no matter what age you are, it's just going to happen at some point in your life. Okay? So let's be prepared. Let's get on board with the education of medical debt. Now, I also want to go into just a little bit about medical debt on your credit from the perspective of how does it work when it's on your credit. When the medical debt occurs as a collection on your credit report, what happens is if the debt is less than $500, then the debt is supposed to be deleted from your credit report. Permanently deleted if it's less than a $500 bill. But that bill does not get eliminated with the creditor or the rather the doctor's office, the specialist, or the hospital that you went to. It's still something that you owe. Is not necessarily something that is going to just disappear in thin air. So you'll still be responsible for the medical debt, but the debt is not supposed to occur if you have less than $500 on the credit report. If it occurs as a collection and you have less than $500 as a balance, the credit bureaus Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are supposed to delete the debt. Now, the second part of the equation that I want to share with you real quick before our time is over is that with medical debt, whenever you have medical debt that hasn't been actually paid, so it shows up as a collection on your credit and it's XYZ company showing that this is the hospital you went to and had surgery and this is the balance that is owed. Okay, once you decide that you're going to either settle the debt with the collection agency, which is not necessarily something that I highly recommend, but I do want you to know that it is important to pay your bills. It is important to pay your debts. As it relates to credit, what I will do is once you come into Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, we'll sit down with you and look at every single collection you have, especially those that pertain to medical debt, and we will help you decide on what you need to pay versus what you don't need to pay and how to make arrangements going forward so that you can still obtain services from maybe the same doctor or a new doctor or whomever that you choose. So we do that at KBCR. This is a part of our whole process when you come into our credit repair program. All right. The other thing that I want you to understand is that if you pay off the debt, if you have medical debt that has occurred on your credit report, and that medical debt shows proof that you actually were someone who paid off the balance fully. The balance was paid either in full or the balance was settled on the credit report. And no matter what the original balance was, no matter how long it was on your credit, now there is a law since 2023 that if it is a paid medical debt, that debt is required to be deleted from your credit report. Now, how can you get the deletion? It's not necessarily automatic, which is why you still need Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, because that's our specialty. Our specialty is to educate you on your particular credit equation with Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and Innovis. That's right, it's four, but only three that are major credit bureaus. And then we are going to help you get rid of every collection. We're going to help you get rid of those charge-offs. We're going to help you to get rid of the late payments, because that's a part of our services. So it's not something that we say, we guarantee, because by federal law, no credit repair company should be guaranteeing you anything, because that is against the federal law. And we want to stay in business. So I'm telling you right now, we are going to dispute it for a deletion, but we cannot guarantee your outcome. But I will say this: we've been in business for over 30 years. So we have been in this industry of credit and finances for a very long time. And that means that our success story is pretty good. So I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not patting myself on my own back. But what I am saying is that proof is in the pudding, because we are still here. Praise God. Okay, so if you are interested in getting your medical debt removed from your credit, I need you to go to www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com. I need you to go to kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com website, and there's a little button there that says Let's Talk. Let's Talk is specifically there so that you can click on that button and you can communicate with us, so you can get into our credit repair program. And if you're already in the credit repair program, you have a particular portal that you can communicate with us. Let us know if you have some medical debt that you are concerned about that maybe has not hit your credit, because if it hasn't exceeded 6 months of you having that particular service being rendered for your health, then you still have the opportunity to pay the medical debt with the original company or the original doctor's office, the original medical hospital, or whomever it is that you saw. You have the opportunity to still pay them directly before it hits your credit. And I want you to know, you need to go ahead and pay them. Set up some type of arrangement. As it relates to medical debt, there's also ways in which you can have the whole medical debt eliminated. That is something that we teach you at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So listen, come on over. Stop playing games. If you're already in the program, let's set up an appointment so we can talk, because everything has to be scheduled by appointment. We cannot just get on the phone and talk to you at any point in time, because we have so many clients from all over the world that are getting their credit repaired. We have so many clients that are coming into our credit repair program and doing their thing and getting their credit scores from a 300, 400, or 500 credit score to a 7 and 800 credit score, even up to the 850s. That's right. We have clients that have established an 850 credit score and maintains that credit score every single month with Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So we are waiting on you. What is the holdup? I don't know. Go ahead and get it done. Go ahead and give us a call, 844-522-7552, or you can even send us an email at info@kbcrllc.com. Listen, thank you guys for watching. I hope that this has been a significant impact to your knowledge and understanding about credit and finances, and we are so grateful that you are here. And listen, we'll see you next week at our new time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every single Friday. Why on Friday? Because that's the day that you get paid, and we need to manage this money better. Okay? But we'll see you next time. Until then, take care, guys. Take care. We are so excited that you are here. Bye-bye.